Hey everyone, it's me, Marilyn Aloria, psychic medium, teacher, coach, and I have a tidbit for you about deceased loved ones that I wanted to share with all of you. So it was a conversation that I had with one of my team members, Laura, who is just lovely, lovely, lovely. And she had recently lost her uncle, and she had written me, do they still ride motorcycles and dance and sing in the afterlife? Is that like, if they show me that, is that what they're doing? And I said, no, they aren't exactly like riding motorcycles and singing and dancing and smoking. They're just showing you that what they truly enjoyed on the earth plane, that excitement, that like fun things, that's what they're experiencing in the afterlife. They're not necessarily riding the motorcycle to have that excitement, but that energy that they had when they did it, they're experiencing it in the afterlife. So she was like, now I get it. So I wanted to share all of that with all of you because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. Well, really, it's all misinformation because none of us know for sure, right? We're all here alive talking about it. So it's what we think we know and what we what we believe in, and how we walk the path of our beliefs. But I want to talk a little bit about what happens when I believe what happens when deceased loved ones go on the other side, and how we can really open up a line of communication with them and really get guidance from them in a way that is so much higher and more expansive than what our experience may have been on the earth plane. So it is my understanding that when they go to the other side, or wherever the other side is, or the other dimension, or wherever the frig they go, right? Wherever they go, um, some of them may have, most of them have some work that they have to do on themselves. So depending on how they lived in the earth plane, what kind of fear, anxiety, their own belief system, when they go to this other plane of existence, they will have some soul work to do. Now, their soul definitely has like a light that could be looked at as like a purpose or an alignment or something of that nature. So they are in the other dimension, and they are aligning with that light, that pure, pure light. And they're doing whatever work they need to do. Now, we're talking about deceased loved ones. For those of you just joining, I'm going to fix my bra strap. So hi, Carrie, hi, Deidre. And I'm giving you what I know to be true about deceased loved ones. And I would definitely tell you to listen in the beginning, but I'll share that tidbit that I had from the beginning again. And I'd love to know your takeaways and what you think. So they go on the other side, or wherever they go, and they do a little work on themselves. And so you may, like, some mediums won't read people who lost loved ones for like 3 months. And the reason why they won't read you if you lost a loved one for like 3 months is, one, you're grieving, so you usually can't hear the messages. And two, I really feel like it's the people on the other side are finding their place in the grand scheme of things. Then what happens is, and I love it, Carrie says my little brother visits all the time, so we're going to talk about this. So here's where people really mess themselves up, and here's the limitation, and that happens. When you think of your loved one who has crossed over, if you're thinking of them in the limitation of how you knew them, so if you're thinking of, wow, I wonder what my father would think about me going to this graduate school and taking art classes. I wonder if he would believe in it, but he really didn't believe in it when he was here on the earth plane, so I don't think he'll believe in it now. Well, that's a limitation that you place on that spiritual existence, that soul. So what I really want people to do is to stop boxing them up in that physical existence, and to start realizing that they have a different way of being. They have a different way of experiencing life. They have a different wisdom to offer up to you, a different knowledge. Another thing that can really get you in the way is when you're speaking to a deceased loved one who says was maybe a father, or, Carrie said she lost her little brother, which is very sad. You could still see them in a hierarchy type of position. So say she's looking at her brother and thinking about her brother, and I don't know that you're doing this, Carrie, I'm just sharing it. And you think about them as lower than you, like you have to keep advising them or help them, or it's your father, you're thinking about him above you. When they want to walk on the path with you, they want to walk side by side with you, because they are here to co-create with you, to help you. They're no longer in a hierarchy. I once had a father come through for somebody, and I said, you have to stop seeing your father on a platform as somebody above you. You have to start seeing him walking with you, because if you see him that way, you're not going to be able to hear the pure messages, because in your mind, you're going to be seeing him as a father figure and how he was in the physical. So you're not going to be able to get the new messages in because you have a narrow perspective. So when you're dealing with your loved ones that have passed over, you really want to be able to try to see them in a new light, in a new energy, in a new experience. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. So I want to share something else. I didn't know I was going to do all of this because I'm going to get on a soapbox now. I love my soapboxes. Deidre is a soul star. Lisa is a soul star. They know me. Kim is too, isn't she? They know my soapboxes. So this is my issue with mediums who you go to for readings and they're talking to your deceased loved ones. When they're just giving information that you already know, and that's all they give you, that to me is not a mediumship reading. That to me is more of a psychic reading, and they're reading your energy and they're reading what you already know. Now, they have to give that to you in the beginning for them to confirm that they are in touch with that particular spirit. So when I'm reading a deceased loved one, the deceased loved one will come in and I will have specific questions to ask the person I'm reading, and they have to give me pretty much most yeses. Then I know that I definitely got that person's father. And what's also happening is the spirit is trusting me to deliver the message, and the person receiving the message is also trusting. So now we got this bridge of trust happening from the deceased loved one to the person I'm reading. Here's the thing though. This is where I differ, and this is the types of medium readings I want. Then I start telling them two things. One is stuff that they may not know at all, names, dates, things like that, where they have to go and find out about it. And I'm going to give you some examples. The second thing is it's about your life. They're fine. They may say to you, thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for bringing me saltines and soup. Those specifics come through, but they don't want to talk about what they are. Your healing is about you moving forward. So when deceased loved ones come through me, my bra strap just wants to keep coming out like a deceased loved one. It's like, here, I'm here, I'm here. When they come through, they want to talk about your life. They want you to move on. They want you to stop with the mourning and the upset energy. And they want you to use that experience and elevate your life and to keep moving forward. So I'm going to give you some stories, and then I want to see, I'm not doing readings right now, Darla, but your mom is probably around you. If she's not around you, she's busy doing something else. So there's something about the throat chakra. So I don't know if she struggled. I guess I am doing mediumship readings. I guess she might have struggled with saying something in the past, or it might have been a quick passing. But whatever you want to say to her, say to her. Just say it. And it's really beneficial to speak out loud to them, because what happens when you speak out loud to your guides, you know, this is my platform. I teach people how to talk to their guides. When you're speaking to guides and deceased loved ones, when you're saying it out loud, there's a vibration that goes with it. We speak in vibration. I speak to my guide. My guides speak to me in vibration. I interpret it in words. That's why it's so important to know the symbolic language of your soul, because they show you symbols. There's too much I can go on about that. I'll be doing a training again in about 3 weeks about that. But you want to speak it out loud. For one, the vibration gets out. Two, hearing the words out releases an energy inside of you. So you're not holding it tight, so you can open up the vessel to hear the communication. Three, when you hear it back, it sometimes clears the channels even more, because you may realize the thing that you really wanted to know, Darla, maybe if you said that out loud, you may realize, no, I know she's with me. Like, just try it out. It's really, really good to try out. So what I want to share with you is, Stacey says it makes so much sense. Thank you, Stacey. And Darla, by the way, I'm sorry to hear about your mom, honey. And so this is great. Erica, I'm sorry, sweetie. She says, I lost my mom over a week ago, and I'm surprised by the sense of calm and peace I feel about her passing. Yeah, you probably have done a lot of work internally as she was passing, and you know she's okay. So now I don't think there's anything wrong with people who need to hear from people from the other side in order to get a sense of peace, because maybe it was a difficult passing and they just need to know that everything was okay. But again, they're going to come through. Thank you, Darla. She says, oh, thank you. It's true. They're going to come through and they're going to move you through your life. So what I want to share you some stories with you. I don't usually talk about this stuff, and my team is always like, will you please share your stories? And I'm like, I'm kind of a little humble about them and a little quiet about them. It's such, readings to me are such a personal thing when I'm doing them with people. I don't really do them anymore. I only do them in my group programs. So for example, one woman came to me. My members probably know these stories. I also don't remember a lot of the stories because I'm channeling. So it's because people came back to me and told them. One woman came to me and her father came into the room, and he showed me a fishing pin that was upside down, and he gave it to me to give to her. And he said, give this to her. And I said, he's giving me a fishing pin, but it's upside down, and he wants you to have it. And she didn't know what I was talking about. And this is where you really get confirmation that the spirit's coming through, not because you know everything. Trust me, if you're going to a reading and you know everything, I'm going to question whether you're really with a medium or not. Sorry, that's my way. So she said, but she knew me enough. So she went home to her mother and she said, Mom, do you have any more of Dad's stuff? Like, I want to look. And mother said, no, I don't have anything. I got rid of everything. And this client didn't believe her mother. And she went into her drawers and started looking around. What did she find? The fishing pin upside down in the back of the drawer. So that's a message. Another pretty famous story of mine is this person came to me and I was doing a reading for him. And the man that was deceased that he thought was his father came in his room. The guy's name was Joe. And I said, I have Joe here. And he's telling me that your father's name is Lewis and he's still alive and lives near you. And my client said to me, well, I was always told Joe was my father. And I said, well, I'm telling you, Joe is telling me he's not your father. Your father's name is Lewis and he lives where you grew up. He lives near where you grew up. So my client went back to his cousin because his mother wouldn't talk about it and said, and to his aunt and said, was there a Lewis around when I was growing up? And she was like, yeah, I was married to a Lewis the first year of your life. And he had never known this, never heard this name or anything. He went, got his cousin, they got a DNA test, and it was the most accurate it could possibly be that Lewis was his father and Lewis was living where he grew up. That stuff is the stuff I'm talking about. Now, if you're in limited perspective, if my clients were like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, I only want to hear about that he's okay. If they weren't open to the magic, they wouldn't have received the messages that were with that. You know, that one client left me a message that I still have that said, one day I wasn't sure who my father was because I was confused. The next day I found out I had a father. Another story is a woman, these are only because people come back to me and tell me. She was on a big call that I did and I was reading her and I said, your dad's on the other side and he's telling me he's with Frank. Who's Frank? And she was like, I don't know who Frank is. And then I gave her some information about her mother going into the hospital in the future. I do a lot of future readings and the knee. So months later, she came back to me and she told me that she asked her mother about Frank. And apparently Frank was this army buddy of her father's who died while he was driving the tank. Her father was driving the tank and he always felt guilty about it. So he was basically letting his daughter know that he was okay and with Frank. And then the other thing that happened is her mother went into the hospital and that they couldn't figure out what it was. And the daughter remembered my reading and told them to check the knee. And there was an infection in the knee that was affecting her whole body. So that's the type of work. I'm not doing readings, guys, right now. That's the type of work that I do. And the reason why I'm not doing readings is one, I'm really exhausted. I just did 2-hour reading with membership. So I'm really tired from doing that right now. Two, I really want you to start trusting your own instrument. You are the instrument. What I can do, the reason why I can do it, especially now, but even when I started doing it and things started happening to me, I just trusted it. I just leaned into it. I said, okay, it might be my imagination, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to allow it to be. I'm just going to speak it. And if you think I wasn't afraid when I started doing readings for the first time, you're nuts, because I was petrified. I was like, what the fuck is going to come out of my mouth? I don't even know. And I'll never forget the very first reading that I ever did for a stranger. I used to have to touch people's knees. I was touching her knee and I said, your grandmother Rose is behind you. And I started giving her all this information. I don't remember it. And she was in shock because her grandmother was Rose and she had passed, and I explained everything. So I was scared. But the thing was, is that there was something bigger than me. Many of you may relate this. That was like almost like I was a puppet on a string saying, go do this, go do this, go do this. And whether you want to do it for a living or not, you want to do what you're feeling intuitively drawn to do, because that entire experience has changed my world, changed my life. And stepping out in fear and taking the risk has completely changed everything. So let me know your big takeaways. I'm just going to check some of your questions. So Gentry's a soul star. She says, this is why I talk out loud in my car all the time, because we were talking about when you talk out loud, it's vibration. It's the way to talk to your guides. And you also clear the channels inside so that you can get the information. So that was great. And so Kim says, that's exactly how I feel. I'm pretty scared to give readings. It's Kim, aren't you in membership, or am I crazy? I might have just been seeing you in soul every day, so I'm confused about the two groups. So Kim, I would say if you're in membership, definitely join the practice circles that we do in Membership for Your Soul and do those, because you're going to be amazed. And it's also a very loving community. The other thing too is just try it. Just give a couple of free readings, or you can even I have so many tips and tools and techniques that I teach, but that's what I would suggest you do. And it would be really, really good for you. Okay. Thanks, Stacey. Oh, girl, I love you. So I just go back and listen to the beginning. Oh, so here's the tidbit I shared in the beginning. I'll just share it now because some of you I don't even know how many are on. I'm starting to feel a little, I think I'm starting to taper off because I've done so many phone calls and readings and everything. Oh, yeah, there's Membership for Your Soul. The doors are closed right now, but if you want to get on the wait list, go to Membership for Your Soul and get on the wait list. I love this. Deidre's in Membership for Your Soul. I talk out loud to my mom all the time. It's like, hi, mommy. It's so good. So, so good. So the thing I was sharing in the very beginning, I do suggest you watch this. It's only like 16 minutes long right now. It'll be 20 probably when I'm done. And it's got a lot of good tidbits in it. But the thing that I was shared in the very beginning was my team member, Laura, asked me, her uncle had passed. Oh, hi, Michelle. How's your mom doing, Michelle? Sending you so much love. I'll read what you said in a second. So Laura's uncle passed, and she was like, he's showing me motorcycle riding and dancing and the things that he loved. She's like, do they do that on the other side? And I said, they do what that made them feel. So he's showing you motorcycle riding and dancing and singing and that stuff because that was his pure joy. That was excitement. That was happy. So he's showing you that he's having that feeling on the other side. He's not exactly riding around motorcycling and doing that stuff, but he's showing you that the enjoyment that he got from doing that here, he's getting that over there. It's like when a spirit comes in and they're like smoking, and I get some grandmothers in like smoking and drinking scotch and playing poker, and I'm like, wow, she's doing, and they're like, oh yeah, she loved doing that. It's not that they're smoking on the other side, even though you might smell smoke because that's just a memory and stuff. It's that they're just letting you know that they're happy on the other side. Let's see, Michelle says she's a soul star. Yes, I've had a couple of times where I felt compelled to say things to people and just did it. I was terrified, but it was received well both times. Looking forward to more of these experiences. Yeah, it's just about, Hans King, who's passed, who was a medium, who's one of my teachers, and I loved Hans King, one of my first teachers. He said to us, he taught us that. He's like, you have to open your mouth and say it. And that was my promise to spirit. Like I would say to people, hi, Michelle, a new Michelle, whether people, I would say to them, look, you may not understand what I'm going to say, but I have to say it. Like one time a girl was in front of me and her mother came through and I was giving her information. And then the mother handed me a banana. And I was like, my students have heard the story. I'm like, I got to tell her I have a banana. And I said to the girl, she just gave me a banana. Do you know what it means? And she's like, yeah, she was always trying to give me bananas when I was leaving the house. So you have to trust it. And Hans taught us a story by saying, he was doing a reading once and this parakeet landed on his leg. And he's like, I got to tell this woman that there's a parakeet on my leg. Like, what does the parakeet mean? Sometimes if you don't know what the symbol means, it's definitely something they need to know. There's too much I can teach in this. And he told the woman and she just lost her beloved parakeet. So that's why it's really important that you do it. Do you have any videos about astral projection? I've had an experience with it and freaked me out a bit, was amazed at the same time. I don't, Jessica, I don't. I teach mainly about your psychic gifts and how to communicate with your guides, because when you have an experience of astral projection, you want to be able to bring in your guides with you and understand why that's happening. So I'm very much about getting into communication with your guides. I was talking to somebody recently, and we had our doors open to Membership for Your Soul. She was studying with all these mediums, and I said, well, do you know your gatekeeper? And she's like, no, what's a gatekeeper? And I'm like, well, your gatekeeper is your guide that's lets the deceased loved ones in. Like, I have 2 to 3 guides that they're the ones, they open the door and they let people in, and then this is why people can't turn it off. Because I have a system around me where I'm like, I'm not going to be in the grocery store telling people their dead uncles next to them. I'm not going to be on a date. This has happened, the mother's behind them. It's like, I don't really want to do that. That's not the kind of life I want to live. Stacey asks, can you connect with deceased pest? It's not one of my specialties, Stacey, but I do recommend Ana Maria Vasquez for that. Whoops. She's beautiful. She's a contributor in Membership for Your Soul, and I love Ana Maria Vasquez a lot. So I would definitely check her out. I go to another animal communicator before I met Ana Maria. I had one, but she no longer takes new clients, but she's got a great book. It's called, I really need to go to sleep. It's called Same Dog Twice. I'm just going to look it up real quick. And it's a great, sweet book about how, let me just make sure I got it. No. Same Dog. Let me look up Marty Meyer book. I can't find it. Okay, some reason I can't find it, but it's such a cute book. Oh, I'll try to find it. Let's see. Yeah, Same Dog Twice. Same Dog Twice by Marty Meyer, and it's such a beautiful book about our dog that came back to her, and I just really loved it. And I have a cat that's reincarnated. All right, so it says, cool, stuff falling off the shelves when you walk by in the store. Yeah, so that's your guides trying to get your attention. That's energy. So you really want to be able to communicate with your guides. It's my biggest thing. If you guys want to be part of a program that I have that really teaches it, it's not open right now, but I would join the, I didn't know I was going to do this. I would join Membership for Your Soul waitlist and definitely get on that. Do not guides connect with numbers? I keep saying yes, definitely. They connect with numbers. They use numbers. That's the symbolic language of your soul. I have a whole class on that inside Membership for Your Soul. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go because I'm starting to get tired. And but I just wanted to share this. Watch from the beginning because you're going to learn stuff. And thank you so much. And I'll talk to you soon. And thank you always to my soul stars. Love you. Love you. And Michelle, much love to you from Membership for Your Soul. I just know there was stuff going on, so I'm sending you a lot of love. Bye.